Hello everyone. We are live. I'm just going to share this really quick to my Happy Highest You Oil Tribe on Facebook. That is where I'm sending people to for any future classes and this class specifically tonight. So I'm just going to share that really quick. If you are jumping on here live, feel free to introduce yourself, say hi, throw your favorite emoji. Okay. We are good to go. Let me make sure we're in this group. Okay, awesome. So we are going to get started. I'm actually going to leave that open in case some people from my group have comments. Okay, so for those of you that are new to this group, or maybe you were invited, maybe you stumbled across my Instagram and were really excited to learn more about essential oils for yoga and meditation. That's something that I've grown to be really passionate about. It's actually how I got into essential oils, was through my yoga journey and my wellness practices leading up to that. But yeah, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Kim Leskovic. I'm an essential oil educator and wellness coach, and I'm really passionate about helping people find what it is that really lights them up in their life and that has them just feeling really motivated and excited for their day ahead. And just really providing people with their tools, wellness tools to use throughout the day to help keep them high vibe, but also specifically for this class, in their yoga practice and meditation practice, to just really be able to connect on a deeper level, as well as just be patient with themselves and to really be present in that moment and to be able to be in that moment with themselves, with their emotions, with their feelings, and whatever's coming up. So that's a little bit half my mission, half of what I'm here to talk to you guys about tonight. But yeah, if you're hopping on here live, feel free to say hi in the comments. And I will get started a little bit on my why. I don't know why this lighting's so funky. Sorry. Kind of try to fix it. I don't know if I can. But yeah, so a little bit about my why and why I got started with essential oils. Back in the spring, summer of 2016, I went through a really transitional period of my life where I was just graduating from the University of Iowa, from college, not really knowing exactly where I wanted to go with my communications degree. And just a little background, even from then, I feel like in high school and throughout college, I went kind of all over the place with my major and decided on communications because I really loved learning how to connect with people and really loved understanding relationships and kind of how people worked, but also how we could just make the most of our conversations and really thrive. And so that was kind of where I went with that direction and figuring out a major. But I still felt when I graduated that something was missing and that the jobs that I was applying for were just kind of because I felt like I should be applying, or that I just felt this pressure of having to find a job right away and having it look a certain way and follow these certain guidelines. But it just didn't feel right to me. And every time I got done with like an interview or applied to a job or like took steps in that direction, I found myself either doing yoga to clear my head and figure out what it was I wanted to apply for, or I would find myself meditating and doing yoga right before an interview. So regardless, those interviews and jobs didn't end up leading me to where I'm at right now. Well, basically I didn't take any of the jobs I applied to, but it helped me to kind of establish and find this yoga practice. So I did take yoga throughout my senior year of college, and I really felt like it helped me to get my mind off of what was going on in school and really just take time for an hour to really be with myself and really understand that I can just fully let go in this moment and fully just surrender to everything that's going on. And so I had some experience there, and then I remember, how am I going to like keep doing yoga after this semester ends? Well, it ended up saving me a lot emotionally, as well as just feeling really motivated to keep going in my life and purpose-driven when that time came to apply for jobs and interview. And so I ended up moving to Chicago, not really having a set job yet, and I stumbled across, my roommate actually introduced me to my mentor now, Alicia Leadham. She runs this Zen Babe Chakra course, and it's 7 weeks where you dive into emotional, physical healing that you work through yoga, meditation, and essential oils and journal work to realign and rebalance your chakras through the 7 weeks. You really just dive into a chakra a week. And this even deepened my yoga practice so much more, because we used essential oils through diffusing, through topical use, but also with our yoga practice. So it just intensified and deepened that connection so much more for me, that now when I smell those emotional aromatherapy blends that I used in that course, I can really associate a memory that was anchored in from that moment I was diffusing and practicing yoga. So that's a little bit about my why and kind of how I've been so passionate already, even just recently going through yoga training, knowing that I wanted to someday incorporate essential oils and yoga in whatever work I was going to do. And so after taking yoga teacher training, my first 100 hours back in March, I've just felt really aligned and that I'm on the right path, and I hope you guys get that vibe from me tonight, and that you really take something from this class and really learn how these two wellness tools can really align and really just have you going into a deeper connection with yourself and taking that into your daily life. And so some of you jumping on here or viewing this video might be really new to essential oils, and maybe you just got started, but maybe you weren't informed of what they actually are. And so I'll just kind of go into what essential oils are. They are aromatic compounds that come from seeds, stems, roots, bark of plants, and they actually, like immediately upon opening an essential oil bottle, like those aromatic compounds disperse throughout the air, and so they're very powerful in helping us with just getting to that olfactory bulb in our brain so fast through our sense of smell. And so not only aromatically are these essential oils really powerful, but they also can be used topically as well as internally. And when I say this, I am speaking specifically to the brand that I've grown to trust and to know that their quality and purity is the best you can get. It's the #1 essential oil company in the world, called doTERRA. And so doTERRA is actually known for their quality and purity. When I say quality, I'm talking about their sourcing and where they go and search for the plant and where it thrives the most in its natural habitat. And then when I'm talking about the purity, I'm talking about the third-party testing and the rigorous process they go through to really make sure you're getting the most potent and pure essential oil that you can get. And when I was diving into a little bit more research about this, the reason I believe these essential oils are so effective too is because it does, like doTERRA does take into account the season and the time and the weather where these plants are being sourced. And so they're really getting these plants at a time that they're thriving and that they're ready to be made into essential oils. And so I'm going to be talking about 8 different essential oils, both blends and single oils, but these all can, well, ways to use these oils, not all of them can be taken internally, but you can use essential oils in general, aromatically, topically, and internally. And so the first one that I'm going to talk about is from our AromaTouch diffused kit, and it's our Balance Grounding Blend. I know the lighting's kind of bad, but so this is an oil that includes spruce, hoe wood, frankincense, blue tansy, blue chamomile, and osmanthus. So it's, like I said, it's a really grounding oil. It's has a combination of tree and root oils, and if we relate it to yoga and meditation, we're really looking for a grounding oil that will have us be in the present moment, that will have us relax and calm down and really forget about the outside world while we're trying to take a moment for ourselves and unwind. And to rewind a little bit, because I did kind of want to touch on, for those of you new to yoga and meditation, I know I invited a lot of new beginners here. I'm always encouraging new people to try this because I know anyone can meditate and anyone can do yoga. It's just a matter of showing up and kind of building on that practice, because it's not a matter of perfection. It's really just your own experience and your own deepening of that spiritual practice. And so I have here a definition on meditation, and I came up with that it's thinking deeply or focusing one's mind for a period of time in silence or with aid of chanting for spiritual purposes or a method of relaxation. So a little bit of background too, when I first got into meditation, I remember I took a class at Iowa as well, but I started out just listening to guided meditations, or walking myself through like a book guided meditation as well. And that really helped me to just kind of focus on their words. And a lot of the guided meditations will have you focus on your breath, and it just kind of keeps you from getting into your thoughts too much until you reach the point of when you can do silent meditation, and until you reach that deeper consciousness of letting your thoughts flow in and out and accepting and being with them. And that's the purpose of meditation too. It's not to rid ourselves of thoughts or things that come up, but it's confronting them and being with them and letting them flow in and out of our body. And then yoga, I have a couple notes from yoga teacher training, but also it's the use of breath control, simple meditation, adoption of bodily postures, used for health and relaxation as well. And so both of these practices, meditation and yoga, really align with essential oils and why I got started, because I was really passionate about the mental and emotional aspects as well. And so Rachel says, yeah, root down to rise up oil. Yes. So again, with the Balance Blend, it is just really grounding. I loved for yoga to put it on the bottoms of my feet. You can also diffuse this oil. But really it allows for people who might just be caught up in their head, be caught up in their thoughts, or maybe they just feel like they are someone that doesn't stop talking throughout their day. It really allows them to be anchored into that present moment and stillness, and allows you to also stay present with an idea until it comes to completion or until that idea is bodied. So if you are really trying to root down and really being present in this practice, it's an oil that really anchors you into that moment and allows you until the end of practice to kind of let go of things. And I think that's all I wanted to touch on Balance. So as well as like my feet, I really love to put a drop into my hands and apply it to my feet, but then also I'll just like rub it on the back of my neck. I love doing that with like, if I'm ever feeling overwhelmed or a little bit of anxiousness, I will definitely put it on the back of my neck. Or if I just have been around people a lot and really just need to calm down, your neck, your wrists, over your heart are great points to kind of put balance on as well. And the next oil I'm going to be talking about is wild orange. I'm going to get a sip of water here. If you guys have any questions on the basics of yoga or anything I've talked about so far, please leave them in the comments. But wild orange is the oil of abundance. And this is just, I get asked a lot what my favorite oil is out of all of them. And at first I found it funny that I went to wild orange, but now I'm really confident in it because every time I open this bottle, it's like instant happy mood. And the fact that emotionally it's the oil of abundance just really makes me connect with it that much more, because in this life I am striving for abundance in all aspects of my life, just feeling really fulfilled and really loved and connected in my relationships. And that's kind of what abundance means to me, is just being full in all aspects of my life, really fulfilled and really loved. And so wild orange is that happy oil for me. It's super cleansing and uplifting. So this would be actually a great diffuser blend, balance and wild orange. If you're wanting to diffuse for like a grounding but also happy daytime meditation or yoga practice blend, I've personally enjoyed those together as well. But also I've been, what's I going to say about morning manifest example? I don't remember about that one. But yeah, so wild orange just has the power to really help shift that mood like quickly. And so I remember coming home from work after a day and I was like, I'm jumping on this coaching call and I just really want to be in the right mindset and show up fully. So if you're someone who just wants to, maybe it's hard for you to get on your yoga mat, or it's hard for you to sit down and just relax and get in like a positive energy, wild orange would be a great one to just open the bottle, sit down on your couch, inhale 3 deep breaths, and then just get started in your practice and get really centered. And the next one I'll talk about is, so wild orange, you can actually, just a little bit more you can do with that one. You can put a drop in like a glass mason jar and drink that kind of throughout your practice. If you have a stainless steel or glass water bottle, you can also bring that to like a studio. It's super cleansing and refreshing, and again, it makes you like happy to be going and motivated. And lavender is the next one I'm going to be talking about, and this one is the oil of communication emotionally. And so lavender is very calming. It's one of our most well-known oils, and for that reason, for relaxation and calming and sleep. So when I think of yoga and meditation with lavender, I think of restorative yoga. And I'm curious, for my next week of teacher training, we're going to be diving into like other aspects besides power yoga, but lavender would be a great one to like apply to the bottoms of your feet if you're going to like a relaxing nighttime kind of yoga, or if you're doing a yoga nidra at home. Those are kind of some examples that would be great practices to try with lavender. If you're new to yoga and you don't know what those type of practices I just said, feel free to kind of do some YouTubing on that. But yoga nidra is, doing one of those is actually equal to 4 hours of REM sleep, and I've done it twice in my life, and it's just so amazing. And you wake up just feeling very awake mentally and clear-headed and very enlightened. So lavender would be an excellent one to kind of pair with that. If you are a yoga teacher, it would be a very like relaxing oil to kind of go around in Shavasana, or if you're doing an in-home practice by yourself. I know I do that a lot, is just do my own routine inside my apartment. I will put lavender on the bottoms of my feet, diffuse, or you can literally, with any of these oils I'm talking about, just put a drop in your hands, and right before you start, just take 3 deep breaths and cup over your nose. That's a great way to just kind of center yourself and get you ready for your practice. Again, for meditation, lavender would be a great one if you want to work on getting a good night's sleep. I've been really curious to try more of meditating before bed. I usually meditate in the mornings, but I think it's really important to get in the right mindset before you go to sleep, because whatever you go to sleep with, your subconscious picks up on, and that's kind of how you wake up, and the thoughts you might have, or how your body might feel the next day. And so pairing lavender topically or diffusing while you're getting into that meditative state before bed will be really powerful in just helping you wake up super refreshed and ready to go. And then oil of communication, I think of if you are an instructor, or you are just trying to go to a studio and meet people, it's a great oil to help us feel comfortable with doing that, and to really stand our ground and knowing what to say and saying it confidently as well. And then Melaleuca is one that I'm super excited to talk to you guys about. It's the oil of energetic boundaries emotionally, and it's also physically really good for soothing any skin irritations. So if you, for some reason through yoga or meditation that occurs, you can use it physically for that. But also it's super antibacterial. You can diffuse, rid the air of any seasonal threats, etc. while you're practicing, making for just more clear breathing and yeah. So along with cleansing physically, it's a great oil to cleanse attachments of any unhealthy circumstances or any unhealthy connections with like other people. So actually, along with balance, I think Melaleuca was one that I used a ton in my yoga training. I actually have it in a roller bottle, and I would roll it on my wrists, on the back of my neck, behind my ears, just to really have me standing in my own truth, and whatever people's problems around me or whatever negative energy that was kind of going on without me or being projected outwards wasn't affecting me on a physical or emotional level. Like, I felt really protected in what people were saying to me, and I even had one person kind of apologize for like dumping their stuff on me, but really I wasn't affected until she said something. And so I was kind of like, really, I didn't feel any of that like physically, because sometimes I can feel tension or just drained, and maybe I listen too much and don't take a step back to really separate myself from that situation. And so Melaleuca is very powerful in kind of clothing us in like a protective shield with negative energies around us. And yeah, you can also, for this purpose of cutting through like overwhelm and clearing any of that negativity that might come up from exploring your spiritual practices. Maybe you're meditating or you're in a certain yoga posture and emotions start to come up, and you don't really necessarily know how to deal with that when you're done with your practice. Melaleuca would be a great one to apply on your throat, the back of your neck, your wrists, like I said, and then also on your belly button and over your heart space. That will just really address the energy centers within our body and really allow for that essential oil to cleanse our body and rid those negative energies that we might be feeling and not really knowing why they're coming up. And the next one that's super similar, has similar properties emotionally, is OnGuard. It's our protective blend. And this one includes, sorry, one second. It includes wild orange, clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary. So I know off the top of my head, eucalyptus is the oil of wellness. I can't think of the other ones off the top of my head. Wild orange, the oil of abundance. I know clove is another one that is similar to protecting those energies and kind of guarding your truth. But the reason I like OnGuard for yoga and meditation is because it really is an individual experience, and we need to go inward and kind of protect ourselves from what's going on around us. So I know like at a yoga studio, it's really hard to, especially like some of your first times going, it might be hard to focus your attention like just on your mat, and even in life, like staying in your own lane and protecting yourself from outside forces that might hinder your growth or hinder your own experience of enjoying it and what joy means to you. And so when I was first going through this essential oil journey through the chakras, this was one when you're going deep with your emotional healing and you're opening up and you're starting to try something new, and you're creating these new beliefs for yourself and these new practices and habits of positivity and health and wellness. When going back to your hometown or family, you really want to protect what you learned and protect who you are. And so even going into like a situation for meditating with other people and doing yoga with other people, it's just a great oil to really energetically protect you and keep you from like saying yes to too much and creating those boundaries. And so also I have on here that it helps you to be more independent and helps you to feel really strong. And when I think of this physically, it's because OnGuard is really an oil that helps boost our immune system and helps us, like protects us against like bacteria and seasonal threats, and just really has our immune system thriving and being really supported. And so going into yoga again and meditation, it's giving us that sense of strength and independence to be able to say no and to be able to set boundaries for, this is my time to meditate, this is my time to get on my mat. Maybe you have to like say that to other people. But then also staying really healthy, being around other people, that energetic sense to that oil as well. And next is AromaTouch. Any questions so far? I see 4 people are watching. AromaTouch is a massage blend. So this oil is the oil of relaxation, and emotionally it takes us from stiffness of heart to being more flexible and open. So totally aligns with yoga. Something I really took from my yoga teacher training too is that there's certain points throughout each yoga practice where you kind of can get in and out of either the physical, the mental, sorry, one second. Let me find it. Yeah, so there's like your physical sheath, your energy sheath, your mental sheath, your wisdom sheath, and your bliss sheath. So in our training, we talked a lot about when people are first starting out with yoga and they're really wanting to go into it to be more flexible, to get that more physical benefit from exercising, which I totally was there too. I was like, oh, I wonder how much like strength I can gain from this and how much more flexible I can be. And then I was totally blown away with how much it affects your whole body and not just about stretching. But yeah, then we talked about how it goes into your breath, and we're guided into focus on our breath. Maybe even with meditation, we start with noticing our sits bones on our chair, our feet in the ground, really that physical aspect, and then we go into our breath and noticing our breath, how it feels going in and out of our nose. And then we can start to have that mental sheath where it talks about we might have feelings of doubt or beliefs about ourselves come up. And I know maybe this could turn you away and sometimes while you're meditating and be like, these are things I don't want to deal with right now. But then that's why I love essential oils, because they can really help us to work through that stuff that comes up with meditation or yoga. So not only are they helping you to get centered with your breath, but they're also allowing you to address those emotions in a calming and relaxing way, so then it's not so scary and it's not so hard to move towards the next sheath that I'm talking about, which is our wisdom. And it talks about thinking without apology, making the best decisions for yourself, and really getting to know what it is you desire and what it is you want, so you can kind of just center yourself in that known consciousness of what it is you are. And then the last sheath is our bliss sheath, which talks about peace, love, and joy. And when we talked about this is that state where you're just laughing and you're feeling joy and maybe you're dancing with friends, and it's just that moment of maybe you had just a really, really good yoga practice, and after Shavasana, you get up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in my bliss body. Let's go dance, let's go laugh, let's go get ice cream. But yeah, so those are just kind of like the levels of like are they called the 5 koshas? Basically the 5 layers that you go through with your yoga practice. And I think that they can totally relate to the oils I'm talking about, especially the AromaTouch. When I think of going from stiffness to more open and flexible, not only from that physical aspect of the beginning of your practice, getting more flexible with more movement, but also that stiffness of, no, I don't want to address these emotions, no, I don't want to address what's coming up, but then going towards more flexibility and reaching that bliss state. Because the more we're able to relax physically, which I thought was really cool about this AromaTouch oil, is when I went and got a massage. When we're able to relax physically, you can tell if you've ever gotten a massage that your thoughts and your mind are just that much more clear, and the stuff that doesn't really matter just kind of goes away, and it's more easy to kind of let that stuff go, I guess. Rachel says, favorite duos? I'm assuming you're talking about Wild Orange and Balance. Yes, for your bliss state, feeling super aligned and who you are and being completely yourself is what she says. Pretty much, yeah. When we were talking about it in my class, we basically were like, when is it that you feel most alive, and when is it that you feel most you? And it kind of, or when you think of the word bliss, what does that mean to you, and what are you doing, and how does it feel? So you're totally right. And those are just kind of a couple of things that I wrote down that bliss meant to me, were like kids laughing, and when I have just a really super belly laugh, or I'm like crying because I'm laughing so hard. And then my teacher gave an example of, shout out to Emily if you're watching this, but she said when you're like sliding on the floor in your socks. But yeah, those are just a couple examples of like that state of bliss. But that can be totally different for anyone. It's kind of just that ultimate goal in meditation and yoga, to really reach that state where you kind of can get through those fears, get through those beliefs, know what it is you really are, get to know that true self, and then eventually reach that moment of bliss within your practice and with your meditation. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a cool association with the oils. And then next, I'll be talking about Deep Blue. Oops. This is an oil. It's our soothing blend, and it includes wintergreen, camphor, peppermint, ylang ylang, helichrysum, blue tansy, German chamomile, osmanthus, and that is it. Lots of good oils. But this is emotionally the oil of surrendering pain. So when I think of this with yoga and meditation, I often think of like the hips, any like hip poses. What I've learned is that we hold a lot of anger and other emotions in our hips. That's why they can tend to be so tight. So the fact that deep blue is an oil of surrendering that pain, I've heard from many instructors, and I myself like to use deep blue literally on my hips after like a good hip opening practice. Passion Inspiring Blend is another one that I started with the chakra cleanse, that really allows for inspiration and joy and that hip area of energy to really open up. And so again, with deep blue, emotionally it reminds us to be an observer of the pain rather than over-identifying and letting that pain consume who you are and put a label to what you can be, and instead really allow for you to let go of that resistance and let that pain lessen, and just know that it's okay to have pain and that it will probably at some point in your life come up again, because that's just how life goes. But to really just be an observer and allow yourself to take the necessary steps to work through it, whether that be holding that hip posture a little longer and really allowing those feelings to come up, and then supporting yourself with an essential oil like deep blue directly over your hips, or taking an Epsom salt bath after a practice and applying these directly to the salts, soaking for 20 to 30 minutes. That would be an amazing way to use oils like after a practice. It also comes in a deep blue lotion too, which just makes for like easier application. And lastly is our peppermint oil. So peppermint is emotionally the oil of a buoyant heart, and it helps us in yoga and meditation to really rediscover what it means to be alive. And I don't know if you guys have ever used this for working out specifically, but I love to not only cool down with peppermint, but also like begin my workouts with peppermint, or if, this is so random, but even if like I'm driving and need energy. So it's a really great like pre-workout or pre-meditation. I know sometimes when I meditate in the morning and I'm not fully awake yet, I'll kind of doze in and out of sleep and I don't really get the same benefits or effect. So peppermint, keep it by your bedside, apply it, kind of allow yourself to wake up a little bit and then meditate. And not only will it physically help you to like feel energized and rejuvenated, but it will also allow for that aromatic memory and anchor to be without you throughout your practice. So maybe you have a really good yoga practice or meditation and you use peppermint, and so therefore going forward, whenever you smell peppermint, that's what it's going to remind you of. And the more you use it and the more positive memories you associate with an oil, the more you're going to just fall in love with them and use them throughout your day. And peppermint is also a great oil for helping us to breathe. We know in yoga and meditation, it's all about your breath, and it's a lot of focusing on it. So that's why I love essential oils, for that like smell factor, to not only, I know sometimes it's hard for people to focus on their breath, or maybe they feel like they're not breathing correctly, but to also have that movement of breath, that feeling of it going in and out your nostrils, but also a smell associated with it can be very powerful with our senses and our concentration and being in that present moment. And I was reading a little bit more in depth about peppermint and its emotional background, and it stated that sometimes we can use peppermint as a way to kind of wade like a short breather rather than like addressing the deep emotional root causes issues of the pain. So what I kind of took notes from that is that we use peppermint as the short breather, but then when we gain enough courage and we gain enough momentum, we can go into using deep blue and really surrender that pain and really let go. Because I think it's important to give ourselves a moment to be like, okay, this is what's really going on. And peppermint allows for that like present moment check-in and to really notice that it's time to go deeper and it's time to really surrender what it is that pain is. So having an oil like deep blue to kind of help us through that moment is really powerful as well. So I think that's all I got for this class. I hope it was useful for you guys. I feel like I've been on here a good amount. Are there any questions? Thanks for your interaction, Rachel. I feel like yoga and meditation are such like umbrella terms, and so I hope I covered kind of some main little snippets of how to use these oils. Actually, all the oils that I talked about can be found in our AromaTouch diffused kit. I mentioned that at the beginning of this video. But also within that AromaTouch diffused kit, it's a great one for yoga and meditation, I think, because it comes with a diffuser, like I mentioned, for aromatic use to diffuse while you're doing yoga or meditation, but also it comes with fractionated coconut oil. And so you can either make your own roller bottles for like taking with you to yoga, using on your mat, like keeping right by your bedside for when you wake up and do meditation. So yeah, having that fractionated coconut oil is really helpful, but you can also like just use it straight in your hand, put a couple drops, rub balance on your feet, rub deep blue on your hips, etc. So I know sometimes if people don't have Epsom salts, they'll put like a quarter size amount of fractionated coconut oil in their palm, put a couple drops of essential oil into that, and then run your hand under your bathtub. So if you don't have bath salts, you can use your fractionated coconut oil for baths as well. The reason we use kind of a carrier for essential oils is because they tend to sit on top of the bath. And so the fractionated coconut oil as well as the body wash or Epsom salts really helps it to disperse throughout the bath and allows for all parts of the water to have it. But yeah, so I mainly talked about the AromaTouch diffused kit. I know there are some new people watching this being entered to our Happy Highest You Oil Tribe. If you're interested in getting started in the month of April, we're actually having a promotion that's going on right now where if you enroll with a starter kit, you get $50 worth of free product back to use for whatever you want. And so I'm actually going to add to that little promotion, and if you enroll within the next 24 hours, you will be entered to win one of these one roller bottles. It was a limited time edition for doTERRA, and it includes frankincense, ylang ylang, vetiver, Douglas fir, cardamom, melissa. But the reason I want to do a little giveaway with this oil is because it was one that I used not only before this live video, but also I used it throughout my yoga teacher training, and I take it with me in my yoga bag. I just went to an in-person class, but it has just such grounding oils. I know we didn't talk about like frankincense and vetiver, but those are just very grounding and root oils. And Melissa is the oil of light. And so when I think of yoga and meditation, it's bringing us more towards the light and being our true self and being more love. And so, yeah, yoga is all about love and light. So I'm excited to kind of offer you guys that. And yeah, so get started with a starter kit, get 50 back and free product points of your choice, and be entered to win the 1 roller bottle. So please reach out, message me if you're interested in getting started. Again, these oils can be used that I talked about for so much more than yoga and meditation, but I love talking about how specific they can be as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I will link how to enroll in the comments after I'm off this video. All right, thanks for joining, Jen, Rachel, you guys are great, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.